The courtroom was quiet, but not in a peaceful way. It was the kind of silence that made people nervous. The kind of silence before something big happens. Everyone was seated. The judge, a tall man with silver hair named Judge Bernard, adjusted his glasses and looked down at his schedule. His voice echoed through the room. Next case. State of California versus Martin Alvarez. Martin, a tired-looking man in his early 40s, stood beside the defense table. His hands shook a little. He wore old jeans and a button-up shirt with a coffee stain on the sleeve. You could tell he didn't have money for a lawyer. Judge Bernard sighed. Mr. Alvarez, I see here you've waived your right to a public defender. Do you really intend to represent yourself? Before Martin could speak, the side door of the courtroom opened. A young man walked in. He looked like a high schooler, maybe 16 or 17. Tall but slim, with curly hair and a backpack slung over one shoulder. He wore a plain t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. A few people turned to stare. A couple of folks in the audience even chuckled. The boy walked straight up to Martin and whispered something. Martin nodded, looking relieved. Judge Bernard raised an eyebrow. And who exactly are you, son? The young man looked up at him calmly. I'm Tyler West, Your Honor. I'm here to represent Mr. Alvarez. The whole courtroom laughed. Even Judge Bernard let out a dry chuckle. Represent? Are you serious, young man? This isn't a school play. Sit down before someone gets hurt. Tyler didn't flinch. He reached into his bag and pulled out a leather folder. Quietly, he handed it to the bailiff, who passed it to the judge. Judge Bernard opened it. He froze. Inside was a valid license from the State Bar of California, with Tyler's photo and full name. Underneath it, another paper showed he had passed the bar exam just 2 months ago, at age 18. The judge blinked, then looked at Tyler again. You're an actual lawyer? Tyler nodded. Graduated early. Homeschooled. College at 14. Law school by 16. I passed the bar before my birthday. The room was silent now. Completely silent. Even the sound of papers shuffling had stopped. Tyler calmly walked over and stood beside Martin. Your Honor, he said, with your permission, I'd like to proceed. Judge Bernard said nothing for a long time. Then finally, with a shake of his head, he spoke. Permission granted. No one in that room was laughing now. Tyler stood tall, his voice clear but calm. Your Honor, I've reviewed all the case files. I believe this is a wrongful charge. Judge Bernard narrowed his eyes. Then go ahead, Mr. West. Show us. Tyler took one step forward. This case is about a break-in at the Madison Tool Shop, he began. They said Mr. Alvarez was caught on camera stealing power tools worth over $5,000. The prosecutor, a man named Mr. Clark, jumped in. We have footage, fingerprints, and an eyewitness, Your Honor. Tyler nodded. Let's start with the footage. The video played on a small screen. A blurry figure in a hoodie was shown walking through the dark shop. The man's face was hard to see, but he did move in a certain way, limping slightly. Now, Tyler said, the prosecution claims this is Mr. Alvarez. But my client has never walked with a limp. He pointed at Martin. You've seen him walk in here today. No limp. Judge Bernard looked at Martin, then nodded slowly. But that's not all, Tyler said. The suspect wore gloves. No fingerprints were found, only smudges. The so-called evidence was a screwdriver found in a trash bin nearby. They claimed it belonged to my client. He reached into his bag again and pulled out a receipt. But this receipt, dated 2 days before the break-in, shows that same screwdriver was purchased by someone else, Robert Vance, a known thief who was arrested 2 months ago. The courtroom stirred. Mr. Clark frowned. Where did you get that? I do my homework, Tyler replied simply. Then Tyler walked up to the witness stand. A woman sat there, Ms. Nora Finn, the supposed eyewitness. Ms. Finn, Tyler began, you told police you saw the thief running from the store at midnight, right? She nodded. And you said it was definitely Mr. Alvarez. Yes. Tyler pulled out a map. Can you tell the court how far your house is from the shop? She blinked. I live 3 blocks away. Tyler stepped closer. And do you wear glasses? Yes. Do you wear them at night? No. Tyler nodded, then turned to the judge. She said it was midnight, and she was 3 blocks away with no glasses. That's not a reliable ID. The judge leaned back in his chair. Mr. Clark looked embarrassed. Tyler spoke once more. Your Honor, with all due respect, this man didn't commit that crime. He was judged too quickly, just like I was when I walked into this room. Silence filled the court again. Then Judge Bernard quietly said, I've heard enough. The courtroom waited as Judge Bernard looked at his notes. He glanced at Tyler, then at Martin. And then he said the words that changed everything. Case dismissed. All charges against Mr. Alvarez are dropped. Gasps came from the crowd. Martin slumped in his seat, eyes wide. Did I just win? Tyler smiled. You did. Martin whispered, Thank you. I didn't think anyone would help me. Tyler patted his shoulder. Everyone deserves a fair shot, even when the world thinks they don't. As they walked out, reporters were already outside the courthouse. Is it true? One shouted. You're only 18? Tyler nodded. That's true. Another asked, How did you learn to speak like that in court? Tyler paused, then answered, When people expect the least from you, that's the best time to show them your best. Later that day, back in the courtroom, Judge Bernard sat at his desk, deep in thought. He'd been on the bench for over 20 years. Thought he'd seen it all. But that morning, he mocked someone based on looks, based on age, and that someone made him look like the rookie. He picked up his pen and wrote one line in his notes. Don't ever judge a person's worth by how young they look. You just might be sitting across from a genius. And from that day forward, nobody in that courtroom ever forgot the name. Tyler West.